Well, that didn't work out well. Hold on one sec. Let's see what I'm doing. There we go. Good morning. It is Sunday at 11, and I am Pip. I get on here every Sunday and talk about marketing moments. So join me for, see if I fixed it. No, I did not. We seem to be having some trouble today. Oh, goodness. Lots of trouble. Oh, there I am. Let's just go with this. So it's Sunday, and every Sunday I get on here, and at 11 a.m. I talk about something to do with marketing. So today I'm talking about sales and sales strategy. Yeah. How are you? What are you doing today? I see someone joining me. That's kind of cool. Thanks. I appreciate you being here. As I said, today I'm talking about sales strategy. So if you want more sales or you want to talk about what you're doing now, that's what I want to talk about. So this is my morning kind of coffee talkish thing, although I changed the name. And let me know who's here. Thanks for the love. And tell me what you're doing today. Today, I am working because for the next 2 months, I am working. And I'm working because we're moving. And so my beautiful forest is going to be at a distance. But we're going to have a swimming pool. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Gwen. Hey, what are you doing today? And yeah, so this one is for anyone who wants to improve their sales. So I don't know if you know, but I have a history of sales. I was in advertising sales for over 10 years. When I graduated university, that was my second job, was at a magazine. Then I moved to a newspaper, then another newspaper, and then I went and sold online stuff. So I've had some training. Online stuff, I mean Google, and then Google AdWords, and then it was websites and Facebook, and all that jazzy stuff. So I wanted to get on here and talk about kind of what we do because, well, we have fun, and a sales strategy is essential, right? It's essential to our businesses. So, but how do we do it? And how do we do it in a way that isn't salesy, isn't sleazy, and actually is positioned to help people like yourself and the people you're going to work with. So that's what I'm going to dig into. So I'm going to dig into KPIs, outcome, timing, questions, meetings, and then the next steps, and then playing for the long game. So let me know if you have a sales strategy or how you get clients or how you plan on getting clients. Gwen, I know you do a lot of volunteer work. So how do you go about getting volunteer work? Or are you looking for a job too? You're doing house cleaning. Getting outside later. I hope to get outside. I have a garden to kind of pack up and clean up because it's 2 years of living somewhere, 2 and a bit years. Man, do you accumulate a lot. Anyway, so let me get into it. So I'm going to tell you a quick story because, you know, I can. So when I moved online and I started sales for AdWords, it was a company that sold AdWords, development and monitoring and call tracking, which was pretty great because you could actually sell it and position it as a business could track their people answering the phone to see how they can improve, because it's one thing for AdWords people to get you the leads. It's another thing to close them. So, but this kind of talks about how to get those leads and how to close them. So at that job on Tuesdays, we had to come in with about 100 leads, and we spent 8 hours on the phone. And the thing we did was we tried to book an appointment. That was the whole outcome of what we wanted, was just to get in front of somebody. And so 8 hours basically got me about 10 appointments. Other people maybe more, some people maybe less. Gwen, I'm going to explain what KPIs are. I get to know, right? I like that you get to know people on social and you have a few jobs, no clients yet. Yeah. You know what? This is a place where we all have to start. And I love your answer because, yeah, we've all been there. We're all there. You know, technically a sales strategy should be something that you do consistently, that is continuous, that is never just put to the side. It is a fundamental part of your business. So in business, right, there's mainly 3 categories. There's sales, there's marketing, and admin. Everybody loves the one thing, right? I love marketing. Can you tell? sales I like it. It's good. It's hard sometimes for sure. And the admin, as a former salesperson, don't like paperwork. But, okay, so as I said, we're going to dig into all these things. So the two things I learned from that company were always have a plan and always have one outcome to the things you want to get done so you can measure, right? So let's dig into KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators. So, you don't make enough sales at the end of the month if you don't make enough sales. But sales is not necessarily just about sales. It's about how you get sales. And how you get sales is having a plan. So, and having things you can measure. Measurement's my thing. So if we create, say, a Google sheet or an Excel sheet, and we put the different things we would do in there to get sales. For instance, generally phone calls. Phone calls work like a charm. They're still a number one way to get in touch with people. So calling businesses. If that was what I want to do to get more sales, I would track how many calls to an appointment, how many appointments to a sale, right? So I want to make at least 100 calls to get 10 appointments. 10 appointments will, hopefully close more than 2, but maybe not. And you gotta think about how many people you can take on. But KPIs are basically your measure of things. So say you want to reach out to people via email, and you know that email is not going to get as much of a response as calling somebody directly or messaging them directly. So maybe send out 100 emails, right? And see what the response is. Do you get a response? Is it something to keep doing? But if you set out what you're going to measure, and then at the end of the week, look at what you did, so track what you do, then you'll see where you're going. And that's what you want. You need a plan. You need a measurement plan, because you need to iterate over what works and what doesn't, right? Like say you're so good with Messenger and reaching out to people and getting them interested in what you sell. Well, then maybe that's part of your plan. And maybe you want to reach out to 10 people because 10 people will get you one meeting and you close 100%, right? So that's how you kind of do the KPIs. You create a measurement plan. That's all it is. It's a measurement plan. And the great thing is, if you work for yourself, you get to create your own measurement plan. I love new beginnings too, Gwen. I am excited to move, sad to move, happy to move, elated. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. Lots to do in the next 2 months. Okay, the next one we're talking about is outcomes. So when you're booking these meetings or sending these emails or reaching out to people on Messenger, you want to achieve one outcome. Now for us, it's a meeting, because when we get a meeting, we drill in, we learn a lot about a person's business, and then we can come up with a strategy. And that's where I think we close 80% of what we do, mainly because we're talking to some of the right people and because we have a plan. So when you're doing a sales strategy, you want to have like one outcome you're going to measure. I'm going to measure emails. I'm going to one outcome to get to the meeting. One outcome, and hopefully it's to get to a meeting, right? That is, if you send out 100 emails, you want to get 10 meetings, right? If you don't get 10 meetings, you got to look at that next week. So always think one outcome when you're, approaching people. Say you're approaching somebody totally cold, which means you've never met them, they've never heard of you. What do you want your outcome to be? Maybe just to introduce yourself, right? Maybe just to slowly build a relationship, because technically sales is all about relationships. Okay, so next, number 3 is timing. You got to live up to what you say you're going to do. So if you have a meeting, don't bail. If you have a meeting, don't bail. Don't bail. Don't bail. If you promise to send something, send it when you say you're going to send it. Always be thinking about how you can improve, and if you make a promise, live up. If you can't live up, you let them know, like that your proposal is going to be late, or switch the meeting on time. I had a meeting last week where somebody reached out to me and they booked a meeting. I was elated. I was like, wow, this guy hasn't talked to me for a year. It was awesome. So we checked out his website. We kind of, tried to figure out what he was doing, and he was a no-show. A no-show to the meeting, which is fine. Stuff happens. However, when I reached out and gave him the link to the meeting, because it was a video meeting, he just said, I switched things with my wife, so can we rebook? I said, yeah, but I didn't give a time or anything like that, and I haven't heard from him again. And to be honest, the timing of things and how you approach things first off is usually a lot to do with how things will be in the future. So this is where you can see if people are going to be difficult clients, if you actually want to work with them, right? So then number 4 is questions. We have 25 questions we ask people. If you'd like those questions, they're for services of SEO, pay-per-click advertising, and social media. If you would like those questions, I'm more than happy to share them. There are 25 questions. There are four top questions, your top 4, magic 4. So you ask those questions, and basically the meeting will take about an hour. It's all about them. Now, the reason we do this is to learn about your business, because what happens is when somebody just directly asks, what's your budget? You don't want to tell them. That's close to your heart. That's like, you're spending my money, right? So not asking until the very end about budget, but asking a whole bunch of questions beforehand to learn where they fit, how much they're spending, how much does it cost for them to acquire a new client, where are they acquiring those clients right now. All these questions make a huge difference to what strategy you're going to put forward, because you can't sell something somebody doesn't need. And if you do sell something somebody doesn't need or want, well, you're doing a disservice to you and them, in my humble opinion. So after the questions, which are a ton, and good, like literally, if you don't get that budget answer, by asking all these questions, you'll know their budget by the end of the call, which is great. So the next one is meetings. So as I said, for good KPI, setting up a meeting to talk about the person's business is one of the best ways to go. So if you're doing a meeting, going and meeting them in real life, and I actually prefer video meetings. I prefer video meetings because I record them, and that gives me the ability to listen back so I don't miss things, which, has increased our closing rate to above 80%, which I'm pretty excited about. I mean, who knows if that'll always be the way. I'm sure we can always iterate and improve. But having that, so those in real life meetings where you record it, so give yourself like a week to build a proposal so you can listen to it and actually maybe even use some of the words they use in your text, in what you're saying, if you're sending a video after that. And that brings me to number 6, which is the next step. So next steps are always important. Nobody likes to hear no, and a lot of people don't like to say no. And as a salesperson, no is a really good answer. No gives me the ability to move on quickly. And because people don't like to say no, you have to build it in to what you're doing. So if you tell people, I'm going to follow up on this day, maybe even at this time, they will be prepared. They'll be prepared. They'll be able to prepare in their mind that no, if it needs to be no, right? It might not be the right fit, but they'll also be able to grapple with it until that certain point that you've chosen. Some people will continue to ignore you and never respond. And those people aren't people you want to work with anyway, because it's common decency if you do a whole bunch of work for somebody to respond. And you know what? You never know what they're going through or what's happening with their business, right? So you just gotta do this stuff, and setting yourself up for the next steps is essential, right? It makes it easier for everybody. And then you want to live up to that next step. So write it down somewhere. You missed some of it, Gwen. I'm sorry. Oh, and you're on your phone. Interesting. You can catch the replay. It's super good, right? I am getting on after this quickly into Geek Speak and doing the Go Live Sunday. But let me just finish up here, right? Thank you for joining me, by the way. I really appreciate it. It makes for more fun and more interesting for me because I get to hear about you. So number 7, and the last thing that I wanted to mention is playing for the long game. So sales is not an island. It does not sit on its own. I mean, it can, and in many companies it does, but what we've seen over recent years is that there's a bridge of sales and marketing, right? And to bridge that into what you do is really important. So if you have a content strategy, if you have a social media strategy, building that in, because a lot that happens with sales is it's the know, like, and trust factor, which we all know, and building your social media, building a place where people can see you talking about and doing what you love and showing your expertise is where we want to get to, right? Like, if people see you as an expert, they will recommend you. They might not necessarily need your services, but they'll be like, oh, I know that girl. She could totally help me. Or she could totally help my friend Bob. Right? I don't know who Bob is, but so those are the things that I was going to talk about. So it was KPIs, it was outcomes, it was timing, it was questions, it was meetings, it was next steps. Always have a plan. And playing for the long game, which is combining social with content with sales. And that's it. That was good, huh? Working hard today. I'm working hard. So I've really appreciated you joining me. I will be live in Cyberpunk Marketing Geeks in a couple minutes to do the Go Live Sunday. And join me over there. I got a great tip for how you search for yourself and your business, because we noticed a lot of business owners, if they want to see how their business shows up online, there's a couple little tricky things you can do, which will help you get a better, more concise result. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll talk next week, 11 a.m. Okay, bye.